What is going on? What is going on? Welcome on in. This is the TWT show. Today we have our special guest, Courtney. I'll let her go ahead and introduce herself.
I'm Courtney. I'm right now an assistant nurse manager for a CVICU in Charleston, South Carolina, and getting ready to finish my master's degree in about a week. And then I'll transition into a clinical specialist job for the SICU at the same hospital.
There you go. There you go. You should have to focus on everybody, right? Make sure we know they put in work for this. But it's funny, we met actually 3 months ago, right when you were in the middle of like getting that together and making that happen. So before we actually started working together, what were you struggling with, making this whole lifestyle change happen?
Just busyness. That was the main part of it. Just, kind of like overstressed. Getting toward the end of school was kind of, just a lot. And trying to fit in, figure out how to fit in. Eating right was just a struggle. Making it work with my schedule and figuring out like how to incorporate, how not to be super restrictive about it and still, build up energy and try and keep up my gym schedule and keep that all the plates spinning. Was kind of where I was at.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, right, how often were you going to the gym? Like, how often was your activity? Because some people, they might think it's just a few days where you might have to give them the real lowdown.
No, I go 6 days a week. I go a lot.
Yeah.
I was in they just had, my gym just had their 1 year anniversary and they posted like the top 50 attendees. And I was in the top 25 of people that like how often I go to the gym. I'm there a lot.
Yeah. So you said the main things for you were really just figuring out how we're going to make sure the food fits into our schedule with the school and work and putting it all together to make this one big, beautiful routine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And what did you try before that was working or wasn't working?
I've tried a lot of things. And I think all of it, kind of builds on the thing that I did before. But I've had, a couple of years ago, had an Orbera balloon placed. I had that for about 6 months, and at that time, I did like the program, which kind of there's some similarities in this program that they just went further on and built on stuff that I had kind of picked up from that, and things that made more sense for my life in this program. I've done, you name it, like tried keto, I've done a Whole30, I've done all the things. I did a program called Slimgenics way back. I've done all kinds of elimination. Whatever it is, I've tried all the things. Yeah.
So a little bit of call that a seasoned person.
Yep.
What was so tough about those ones though? The keto, the Whole30, Slimgenics.
They were kind of restrictive, and the rebound was terrible. I got to the end and the restriction goes away and there's not a whole lot. There's some information on how to kind of build back in, but it's not, there's no support. Like you're just kind of on your own, figuring it out. There's not a real great roadmap for that. So the rebound was always kind of the worst part for me, is that like I lost, 15 pounds, but then it came right back.
All right. And I was trying to keep it myself. I know that if you don't do it in a really specific way after doing it for so long, it's like, well, you might have lost 20 pounds. Well, you're ready to kind of have a welcome home party because they're going to come right back the minute you start. So, it can be good in the short term, but long term, is it sustainable? It depends on who you are. More likely than not, probably not.
Yeah. It was not for me.
Yeah. And so we know that you mentioned that the food wasn't really fitting your schedule, but really, I noticed a lot of times your energy wasn't all the way there, at least from the start.
Yeah, no. I try to push myself in the gym, and certainly wasn't getting as much out of my diet as I needed to be to keep up that schedule. I was still doing it, but it just didn't feel great. certainly not as, it's gotten way better.
Hmm. Hmm. And how was that affecting life back then? When it comes down to work, when it comes down to school, just living your life, like how was the eating and the energy?
I think it added to the stress. I think it just kind of made everything worse. Yeah, and it, just kind of, you always feel like you're failing in some way. And yeah, that's I don't know, it just makes you feel awful just generally. So, you're low energy, it just, other things don't feel like they're going right either.
Right. It's almost like the way I see it is like life is full of spirals. You can have a negative spiral or you can have a positive spiral. When you have all those things kind of compounding, it's like it can be a big one or small, but it still feels kind of shit, just kind of winding the wrong way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see. I see. So when you and I talked, we started working together, I believe it was around the end of July. What were some of the things that you and I actually put together and implemented to get you going?
So started using the logging app that is part of the program. I mean, the challenges, those were great for me, like the ones that within the program itself. Introduction to goat formula. Although I wasn't as strong on that as I could have been. I feel like I can do that better. But just incorporating like taking the stress level down and really focusing on that even more than focusing on like the eating. Honestly, just that's something that we started working on, I think, right away.
Is that working on the stress level?
Yeah. So just kind of incorporating like meditations, and taking that, like how we talked about, like getting that hour, like the before bed hour, like just shutting down and stopping. Deep breathing on the way home, so that's not contributing to the stress level. Yeah, just taking some time, during the day to kind of dial it back and focus and just reorient and focus.
And for those of you guys who are listening, you might relate to her in that point where she might get home from work and then just keep on working until she knocks out and then knocks out and that's it. So when she says the 1 hour we're talking about, maybe an hour or so before her bedtime, that's when she stops everything and she kind of gets into her nighttime routine, right? And just kind of just working, grinding until, oh shit, I'm exhausted. And let's go to sleep wherever you are.
Yep.
Anything else you feel like?
Yeah, like I said, like the just, I don't know, building routines that actually fit my life, the things that are sustainable to me. Like, I feel like, ending this program, that I can keep on doing all of it. I mean, like, I think it's things that are, just kind of put more tools in the toolbox that you can walk away and be like, all right, I can keep using this stuff and I can keep on incorporating it and keep on the same track that I've started on.
Right.
Yeah, that's huge for me. Cause like I said, a million, however many other programs I've been on, didn't feel like that, like I was going to keep doing them afterward. It's like, I might try for a little while, but then it just didn't, just didn't have the, what I needed to keep going.
Yeah. And so when you say needed, that's more so the toolbox you're talking about, or what do you think that is for you?
Yeah, just having, some guidance, some tools, some, feeling like there's still some support there. Yeah, I think that's the main thing for me, is just like ending, kind of ending the program, but it's not really ending. I think that's a big difference from other things that I've tried in the past.
Right. I know a lot of people, they talk about when they talk about getting into a program, they say they got this almighty great support, and you get an email a week, maybe a text a week, and then after that it's like, all right, well, I talked to a robot, not really you.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I think it's played a pretty big part, actually, when you're talking to humans to kind of make things happen.
Yeah.
was I gonna say? The challenges. Talk about the challenge a little more. I know that for you, you were the one, you were going really hard with the challenges, if I do recall correctly.
Yeah, no, that to me, like, I don't know, just having a team and it being like, that's a big thing for me with my gym time as well, is just the accountability.
Right.
But feeling like you're part of a team, you don't want to let your teammates down. So, you do all the things, you get all your steps, you get all your protein, you get, as much as you can. And then just getting in the habit of like paying attention to it and logging it and, being responsible for it, really. That was super helpful to me. And I really enjoyed it, just having something else like, all right, now this, for this next few weeks, we're going to try for this.
Yeah.
It's time limited. You feel like it's accomplished, like you can do it, like it feels like it's something that you can accomplish. It's like, all right, so like it's 3 weeks, like it's not going to kill me. I can totally do this. So yeah, those were like just the accountability mainly.
All right, all right. You know what's funny about the accountability is that a lot of times people who I talk to who usually work in the healthcare field, they're by nature very competitive people, right? to get to whether it's med school or to become a nurse, whatever. You gotta have some kind of fire in you. There's no way you can get that there and just mosey your way through it, and it doesn't work that way. You can agree, I can agree. I've seen it happen myself. It doesn't work that way. And so a lot of times I see them, people see the challenges like, oh shit, I can actually be a dog again. I can actually, go out there and fight again without having to put violence to anyone, right? I can actually just focus on this, put all my energy into it, and like be the best again, right? Feel that fire again. And so I think that's why you might love it a lot too. Maybe that's just me from what I've seen, but it sounds like you found that fire again, and it's like, okay, we can put this fire towards this, and everything is better, and life is just good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome, awesome. So, do you have any major breakthroughs?
I mean, like as far as like accomplishing goals, lost a lot of inches. I mean, like we've kind of non-scale victories, right? So like it was really surprising because I wasn't the best about measuring frequently, but when I did, that was, it was kind of shocking to me. I was like, oh my God, like, no, it really is working. Like, even though it's not necessarily coming off on the scale, definitely made a big difference in my measurements. That was kind of a breakthrough for me. It's like, okay, no, it really is working. And just incorporating the measuring part, as opposed to just weighing, I think is going to be helpful going forward too. Just remembering like, all right, like at least once a month, check the tape measure and just see like where we're at, especially if I'm feeling like, because I think when I did do those measurements, it was like, it was at a time that I was feeling like I wasn't getting anywhere. I was feeling kind of stuck. So that was a big help for me.
Yeah. I remember I wasn't even here. I was out of town when we had that call, and you're like, I don't know what's going on. Shit isn't changing. Like, okay, let's ease up a little bit. Right? Let's take a look at it, right? Because we booked 2 calls for that one. We booked 2 calls for that one. And situation was I was going through your profile and looking at everything. I'm like, all right, something's off. I noticed we're on the measurements. Like, all right, well, cool. The weight's staying the same, but you're doing everything right. So let's go check the measurements. Come to find out you lost damn near 4 or 5 inches, but the weight's staying the same.
Yeah, it was more. I think it was a lot of inches off my waist. It was like a surprising amount.
So it could have been the fact where you're probably just doing some recomposition where you were dropping some fat, but you also putting on some muscle too.
Yeah, because everything was small. Like all of my measurements were smaller, but that was like the biggest difference was my waist measurement. And everything else had just, it had shrunk down.
Right. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yep.
Anything else you feel like happened throughout our time?
Gaining confidence with it, really. That's been the huge thing for me. Because I'll, somebody who'll kind of get down on myself about if I'm not doing it perfect or getting 100% of it. I think that, that's gotten better throughout the program. It's just feeling like, all right, so it's not, perfect, but it's still like, we're still doing the work, right? Like still getting it done and still seeing results. It's just, yeah, I think that's the other big thing is just the confidence boost from it, and feeling like I can keep doing it.
Yeah. We focus a lot, for those of you guys who don't know, we focus a lot on progress over perfection. So you want to do more of getting the job done rather than trying to make the job perfect. If you can get the job done, that's how you get paid the bills, right? When you get to work, you're not gonna be perfect every single time, but as long as you get the job done to a sizable how I put it, a sizable standard, then you can still come back home and take care of yourself and take care of the family. But if you try to be perfect every single time, knowing that we're not perfect, then you might not be where you want to be. So we're gonna focus on progress, and you got to keep doing that progress. Most definitely. Exactly. Awesome. And so, how do you feel like that all these things change your life? How do you think things change from before started to now, based on everything we did? And they mentioned the confidence. That the inches are what's going on. What else is happening?
I don't mean really I feel like, but getting the degree done is gonna take a big chunk of the stress off my plate. And I can see things changing for the better. Once kind of that's just a big thing that just needs to be knocked out. And then once that's off of there, I don't know, I feel like it's gonna accelerate. My progress is gonna go faster than it has. Yeah, just because it's all, the stress level for one thing. And then, instead of focusing on that, I can kind of redirect the energy to some other things. And but yeah, I think that's going to be a big thing for the future is, get the degree and kind of work the formula and, envisioning what's going to happen next, and that happens, and then the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So yeah, that's been kind of key for me, is just being able to kind of envision what the future is going to look like.
I like it. So when we were getting started, let's take it all the way back to July. Was there anything yet you were skeptical about before we actually got started?
Anything what?
You're skeptical about, either before or after?
Yeah, all of it. Like I said, I tried all kinds of things, and I'm like, all right, well, let's, try something else. Like, it's not that I didn't think it would work. It was just one of those things like, well, I just have to kind of see, because it's, the more times you try and it doesn't work out, the less like the less confidence you have in the next thing working out. So just, but that's how I quit smoking, right? Like I smoked cigarettes for a long time, and I haven't in like 10 years, but I just kept trying the next thing until finally something worked. So, and it's kind of how I looked at this. It's like, I've got to change it. So, I might not have a great deal of confidence in it. I might be skeptical that, this will be the thing, but try it. And it has been the thing. So far so good.
Glad to hear that. I really am. That's dope. See that you committed yourself to it, even knowing that, okay, I'm not sure, but fuck it, it's me. Let's go ahead and do it. And here we are, 12 weeks later, you're actually doing it.
Yep.
Perfect. So for the lady or the guy who's on the phone with me, who said, I don't know if I should do it, I'm kind of on the fence, what does Courtney tell them?
Just do it. I mean, just try it. It's doable. I mean, it's not something that like, no, it's not extreme. It's not, it's not going to eliminate everything from your life. You don't have to change everything about yourself to do it. It's tailored to fit what you're doing. So it's a workable program, and it's something that you can keep with you, like after once the program's done, you can keep doing it. And yeah, I mean, it's, the support's great. Having Coach T, like just talking to you all the time, talking you through it. Yeah, I mean, it's something that just try, just get into it and start working the challenges, and, doing the steps, checking in, and just keep going.
Sure. That reminds me back to when you went on that vacation. You mentioned it with your wife, and remember that vacation, you started to freak out a little because he's like, oh, I put on a little bit of weight. And after that, I went back down. So it's just, okay, let's re-strategize, see what happens here. And then we're good to go.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Awesome, awesome. Before we head off of here, do you have any last word, any last piece of advice, tips you want to give to the people before they
Drink all the water. Drink the water, get the protein.
That's simple, right? Simple, right?
Oh, and sleep too.
Sleep. How's your sleep now? Is it better from beforehand?
Yeah, it is for
awesome.
sure. Yeah, no,
Awesome.
my sleep's good, and I focus on it more. So it's
Mhm.
it's gotten better. Like my habits around sleep are better. And I feel like I have more energy during the day. So for sure.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that, really. And that's night and day from when we started.
Yep.
Like, oh, I don't know, life is crazy. We'll see what happens. Now it's like 20 minutes.
Yep.
So awesome. Hey, listen, Corey, I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate you sharing your experience so that people can see it themselves. We'll talk again.
All right.